Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Ravand English Podcast. I'm Brandon, and today we want to talk about phrasal verbs, the expressions native speakers use automatically without thinking. Let me show you why they matter. Sometimes you see something in real life, but the way you describe it is different from how native speakers describe it. For example, you are walking outside and suddenly you see your friend David. You didn't plan to see him. It just happened. You might say, I saw David, but a native speaker says, I ran into David. You see the difference? This small change makes your English sound natural. All right, let's begin. Sometimes you need something and you don't know where it is. You open drawers, move things on the table, check your bag, look behind the sofa. This whole action is look for. It means you are slowly trying to find something until you finally see it. For example, I'm looking for my keys. I can't remember where I put them. Or, she is looking for a new apartment because her current one is too small. When you help someone stay safe or comfortable for a period of time, for example, watching a child, feeding a pet, or checking the house, this is look after. You take responsibility for them. You make sure everything is okay. I look after my neighbor's dog when she travels. Or, can you look after the house for a few days? Okay, next phrasal verb. Driving someone to a place and leaving them there is drop off. You stop the car, they get out, and you continue driving. This is drop off. For example, I can drop you off at the station before work. Or, she dropped off the packet at the post office and went home. Next phrasal verb is find out. When you learn something new, something you didn't know before, that moment is find out. Maybe someone tells you, maybe you read it somewhere, or maybe you hear it by surprise. For example, I found out my friend got a new job. Or, we found out the restaurant was closed when we arrived. Sometimes things don't make sense at first. You look at them, think about them, try different ideas, and then suddenly everything becomes clear. That moment is figure out. It means you understand something after thinking. For example, I'm trying to figure out why my phone isn't charging. Or, he finally figured out how to fix the printer. Next phrasal verb is put away. After using things, you return them to the correct place. Clothes to the closet. Books to the shelf. Dishes to the cabinet. This careful action is put away. You make this space clean and organized again. For example, I put away the dishes after dinner. Or, She put away all her winter clothes for the season. The next one is throw away. Sometimes you don't need something anymore. It's old, broken, or useless. You take it and put it in the trash. The action is throw away. For example, I threw away the broken umbrella. The past form of throw is threw. I threw away the broken umbrella. Or, don't throw away those papers. I still use them. The next one is give up. When something is difficult and you feel tired or frustrated, you might stop trying. That moment is give up. It means you decide not to continue, even if you could improve with more practice. For example, don't give up. You are getting better every day. He gave up guitar lessons because he thought it was too hard. Next one. Workout. Training your body to stay healthy. Running, stretching, lifting, moving is workout. You use your energy and your muscles become stronger. I work out 3 times a week. She works out early in the morning. Preparing something so it works correctly is set up. You connect parts, arrange items, or organize a space so everything becomes ready to use. I set up my new computer and installed my apps. Or, they set up their room for the meeting. The next phrasal verb is come up with. When an idea appears in your mind, maybe after thinking, maybe suddenly, you come up with it. It means you create a new idea. For example, she came up with a great plan for the project. You see, she came up with a great plan for the project. Can you come up with a better example? Okay, let's go to the next one. Bring back. Sometimes something makes you remember the past. A photo, a song. It takes you back to another time. This is bring back. For example, this picture brings back my childhood memories. Or, that music brings back the time we lived near the beach. Bring over. When a friend visits your home and brings something with them, like food, a book, a device, they bring over it. For example, I'll bring over some snacks later. Or, he brought over his laptop so we could study together. You see, the past form of bring is brought. He brought over. He brought over his laptop. Okay, next one is bring up. Sometimes you introduce a new topic in a conversation. You start talking about someone that no one mentioned before. You bring up that topic. It's very important and very practical. For example, she brought up an important question in the meeting. Or, please don't bring up that subject. It makes him uncomfortable. When a plan stops, for example, a meeting, a class, an event, It is called off. Something happened, so it is canceled. They called off the game because of the rain. Another example, the meeting was called off at the last minute. Catch up. When you meet someone you haven't seen for a long time and you talk about everything new in your lives, you catch up with them. For example, let's catch up this weekend. It means let's see each other. It's been a while. Or we caught up for almost 2 hours. The past form of catch is caught. So I say, we caught up. We caught up for almost 2 hours. Clear up. When something is not clear and someone explains it to make it easy, or when clouds disappear and the weather becomes clear, things clear up. Let me clear up the problem for you. Or the sky cleared up after the rain. Close down. When a business stops forever, closes the doors, and never opens again, it closes down. For example, the bakery closed down last year. Or many small shops closed down during the crisis. I hope you never close down your business. Come across. Sometimes you find something by accident without searching for it. This is come across. For example, I came across an old letter while cleaning. It means I was cleaning the house. I wasn't searching for anything. I was just cleaning. And suddenly, I found a letter. So I can say, I came across an old letter. Or another example, she came across a new cafe yesterday. Come in. I'm sure you have heard it before. Entering your room or a place is come in. It's a simple action, but very common. For example, come in. The door is open. Or the teacher came in late today. Cut back. Reducing something. For example, eating less sugar or spending less money or using less time is cut back. I'm cutting back on sweets. Or they cut back their spending this month. It means they are spending less money. Count on. When you trust someone and believe they will help you, you count on them. For example, you can count on me. Or we count on your team to finish the job. Do-over. What is do-over? Sometimes the first trying is not good. So you repeat something and you do it again. This is do-over. Let me give you an example with that. I need to do the project over. Or he wants to do the test over. Dress up. This one is very important and very practical. Wearing special or formal clothes. Clothes nicer than usual is dress up. We dressed up for the wedding. Or she loves dressing up for parties. But when you are just wearing your clothes, you can say, I am getting dressed. So we have dress up and we have get dressed. Don't mix them up, okay? The next one is end up. I myself use this one a lot. When your plan changes and something different happens, you end up somewhere or doing something else. We got lost and ended up at a small cafe. Or he ended up choosing a different job. Get along. When two people have a comfortable relationship, no problems, easy communication, they get along. For example, we get along very well. Or she doesn't get along with her new coworkers yet. I'm sure you have experienced that before. For example, your sister cannot get along with someone. Sometimes you are outside a car or a building, and then you move inside it. You open the door, step in, and now you are inside. This action is get in. This is often used with cars or taxis. For example, get in the car. It's cold outside. Or she got in quickly because it started to rain. Go back. When you return to a place where you were before, you go back. Maybe you left and then you decide to come again. It's about returning to an earlier place or situation. For example, I want to go back home after the meeting. Or she went back to the store to exchange the shoes. Grow up. As time passes and a child becomes an adult, we say they grow up. It describes the process from being a small child to becoming older and more mature. I grew up in a small town near the mountains. You see, the past form of grow is grew. So I say, I grew up in a small town near the mountains. He wants to visit the place where his parents grew up. Head back. After you go somewhere for a while, there is a moment when you return to your original place. When you start that return trip, you head back. It's like saying, start going back. For example, let's head back home. It's getting late. Or they headed back to the hotel after dinner. Hold on. Sometimes you want someone to wait for a short time. You ask them to stop and not move forward yet. In that situation, you say hold on. It's like a soft wait. Americans use that a lot. Hold on a second. I need to check something. Or hold on. I'll be right there. It means don't move. Hold on. Wait. Kick off. When an event or activity starts in an official or energetic way, it kicks off. It can be a game, a show, or a meeting. The first moment, the beginning, is the kickoff. The concert kicked off at 8 p.m. Or they kicked off the meeting with a short introduction. Sometimes when you talk about a group, you don't include someone or something. You forget them. That is leave out. Please don't leave me out of your plans. I will never say that sentence. Or another example, she left out an important detail in her story. Log in. When you type your username and password to enter an online account, you log in. I think this is pretty simple. You have heard it. You have seen it before on websites. It's the action of opening your account or a website. I log into my email every morning. And the opposite is a log out. And you press the button to exit. This is log out. For example, don't forget to log out when you're done. Or he logged out and turned off his computer. If you move your eyes and your body slowly around a place to see what is there, you look around. You're not searching for someone specific. You're just seeing the area. For example, we looked around the market for a while. Or she looked around the room to find a seat. When you remember the past and think about old times, you look back. It often has an emotional feeling, sometimes happy, sometimes sad. For example, I looked back on my school days with a smile. Or she looked back at last year and felt proud of her progress. Sometimes people create something that is not true, a story, an excuse. They make it up. It means they invent it from their imagination. For example, he made up a funny story for the kids. Or she made up an excuse for being late to work. When two things are confused in your mind and you treat one as the other, you mix them up. This can happen with names, dates, times, or objects. For example, I mixed up the test dates and studied on the wrong day. Or she often mixes up Tuesday and Thursday. The next one is pass out. If a person suddenly loses consciousness and falls to the ground, they pass out. It often happens because of heat, lack of air, or feeling very weak. For example, he passed out during the race because it was too hot. Or she almost passed out when she saw blood. When you choose one thing from many options, you pick out that thing. For example, pick out a shirt you like for the party. You see, you look at the choices and then decide on one. For example, she picked out a nice gift for her friend. Put down. Placing something you are holding onto a surface, like a table, the floor, or a chair, is put down. Your hand moves from holding it to leaving it there. For example, put down your bag and relax for a moment. He put down the box carefully on the floor. Put out. The previous one was put down, but this one is put out. Turning off a light is put out. You remove the flame or the light so it stops burning or shining. For example, please put out the candle before you leave the room. Or the firefighters put out the fire quickly. And when you meet someone you know by accident, without planning, just suddenly seeing them in daily life, you run into them. And the past form is ran into. Run into, ran into. For example, I ran into David at the supermarket yesterday. or she ran into her old teacher at the mall. The next one is settle down. When a person starts living a quieter, more stable life, maybe they stop moving around, get a steady job, or start a family, we say they settle down. Life becomes calmer and more regular. For example, he wants to settle down and buy a house in a small town. After many years of travel, she finally settled down in one city. Sometimes people trying to get attention by showing how great, strong, and rich or talented they are. They do things not just for fun, but so others will look at them. This is show off. He likes to show off his new car. She was showing off her English in front of her friends. When a machine or a system or a business stops working completely, it shuts down. The power goes off or the company closes. For example, the computer suddenly shut down while I was working. The factory shut down last year. If you add your name to a list to join a course, an app, or a website, it is sign up. You sign up. It means you register to be part of something. For example, I signed up for an online class. When you purposely move more slowly, walking, driving, speaking, you slow down. You reduce your speed to be safer or more careful. For example, slow down. You're driving too fast. The next one is speak up. Speak up. Speaking louder or more clearly so others can hear you is speak up. It can also mean sharing your opinion when you were silent before. For example, she decided to speak up about the problem at work. You see, this is very practical, my friends. Speak up. When a couple ends up their romantic relationship, or a group divides into smaller parts, they split up. They stop being together as one unit. They split up after 3 years together. Or the group split up and went in different directions. If you follow a plan or habit and do not change it, you stick to it. You continue with the same rules or schedule even when it's hard. For example, try to stick to your study plan. Or he sticks to a healthy diet during the week. This was stick to. What about stick with? Stay with a person or idea and not leaving it is stick with. You stay loyal and continue together. For example, stick with English. Don't stop now. Or she decided to stick with her old job for another year. Turning something like a TV, a device, or a light off is switch off. Switch off. You press the button so it stops working. Switch off the light when you leave the room. He switched off his phone before the meeting. And the opposite is switch on, turning a light or a device on. You press the button so it starts working. For example, she switched on the TV to watch the news or switch on the lamp. When you remove something from a place and take it away, for example, food from a restaurant or toys from a room, a plate from the table, you take away it. We order pizza to take away. The waiter took away our plates after we finished. Talk back. I love this one. Answering someone in a rude or disrespectful way, especially to an older person or a teacher, is talk back. Don't talk back to your parents. The student talked back to the teacher and got in trouble. Never talk back to your parents, my friends. This is rude. This is not right. This is bad. If you tear paper into pieces or tear something because you are sad or angry, you tear it up. For example, she tore up the letter after reading it. Or, he was so angry, so he tore up the contract. Putting clothes on your body to see if they fit or look good is try on. You usually do this in a store or at home with new clothes. I want to try on this jacket. She tried on 3 dresses before choosing one. Turn up. When something or someone appears unexpectedly or arrives, especially late or suddenly, they turn up. You see, this is very practical, my friends. For example, he turned up at the party without an invitation. Oh my God, this is so bad. When you're not invited, you do not go. The missing keys finally turned up under the sofa. Using something until there is none left is use up. After that, you don't have any more of it. For example, we used up all the milk. Or she used up her phone battery watching videos. Working to improve something, a skill, a project, a problem, is work on it. You give time and energy to make it better. I'm working on my pronunciation. They are working on a new website. Writing words on paper or a device so you don't forget them is write down. You move information from your mind to a safe place. Write down this phrase in your notebook. She wrote down the phone number quickly. When you arrive at a hotel or airport and tell them your name so they know you are there, you check in. We checked in at the hotel at 3 p.m. Please check in 2 hours before your flight. The next one is bring in. If someone is added to a group, team, or project because of their skill or help, they bring them in. It means to include someone new to contribute. They brought in a new teacher to help with the course. The company brought in an expert to solve the problem. When a person in a high position, like a manager or leader, leaves that position, they step down. They choose to stop being in that role. The director stepped down after 10 years. He stepped down from his job as team leader. Okay, this one was step down. What about step up? Putting more energy, effort, or action into something is step up. It means you do more than before, especially when it is needed. For example, we need to step up if we want to improve. Or she stepped up and helped when the team had a problem. Continuing to do something, especially after a pause or difficulty, is carry on. It's very similar to keep going. Carry on studying. You're doing well. They carried on talking even after the lights went off. And finally, when you recover emotionally from something painful, for example, a breakup, a mistake, an embarrassing moment, you get over it. It means your heart and mind slowly feel okay again. For example, it took him a long time to get over the breakup. She got over her fear of speaking English by practicing often. All right, my friends, let's slowly wrap this up for today. You did a lot. You listened to many new phrasal verbs, and your brain is probably a little tired now. And that's okay. It means you were working, you were learning, and you were growing. I want you to remember something. You don't need to remember all of them today. That's not how language works. Maybe 2 or 3 stayed in your mind. Maybe only one feels really clear and strong right now. That's already good. That's already progress. In the next days, just pick a few and play with them. Say them out loud. Use them in your head when you're walking, cooking, or waiting for the bus. For example, you can tell yourself, I'm working on my English. I won't give up. I'm not going to put it off. Little moments like this train your brain. And if you enjoyed learning like this, slow, simple, with real situations, stay with me here on the Ravand English Podcast. Share this with a friend who is also trying to improve their English. Your support really helps this project continue and grow. Take one last deep breath, let your shoulders drop, and feel a little proud of yourself. You showed up, you listened, you carried on. I'm Brandon. This is Ravand English Podcast, and I'm really looking forward to our next session together.